Good morning and welcome back to session 3. So just a quick recap on session 2. We made the mega tree and the star, we made the mini trees and the stars, and we added the Rosa Grande to the house. We then added groups and learned how to make submodels for the windows. So let's get started. I am going to add a singing prop to the house now, because then when it gets further on and we're making a sequence, we can learn how to make the singing face work and what we do. So to make a singing tree, I have got a singing tree from Build a Light Show. So again, the singing tree won't be in any of these up here because it is a made prop. So we go to, I always get these muddled up. Is it create new or import custom? I'm going to go with the arrow. Probably wrong. And I'm going to stick the tree in this window. Yes, I got the right one. One day I'll learn. So it's downloading all the different ones. So I know that it is a GE singing tree I have. Now with Rosa Grande, we typed it in this search bar and we kept pressing search until we found it. This way, I'm going to show you we can drop down the GE props and then we can go through them and search. So what are we looking for? It's not arches, it's not bulbs, candles, cookies. Is there a singing tree? I've got the singing tree on our house. Seem to think there is maybe singing props, but I could be wrong. No. Is it under trees? Haha! Singing tree. Look how many different ones there is from GE. So let's click on the first one. And that is the one I've got. 47 inches tall, 217 pixels. So if we insert model, should I import? Yes. And there we have our singing tree. Just popped it here. Now with the singing tree, if we go down to all the information, I'm going to keep it as a singing tree, what the name is, because then if I map sequences that I've bought to my layout, if I've kept this more or less the same, I'll be able to just map the tree straight over to the tree. If we go to faces and click, haha, this box opens up. So here is our tree, and then it has got face outline, so the outline will be green. The mouth will be white, and there's all different mouth movements. As you can see, the little pixels here that are white. All these will be used when the tree wants to sing a song. So they are already in the prop that I have downloaded. So I have got a reindeer on my show. So I am going to add a reindeer to this because then later on in the videos I can show you what you can do with the reindeer. So if we go to this arrow again, because it's already a made one I bought from Build the Light Show, and I pop it here. Now the running reindeer that I bought from Build a Light Show is an EFL prop, and if we find it down here, running deer. That's the one, 500 pixel count. Always check the pixel count because sometimes there's miniature ones of things. So like the singing tree we've just done, there's a miniature singing tree and it will have different pixel count. So I know this is the one I've got. It's got 500 pixels. And here is our reindeer. Now if we zoom in, can you see all them different legs? A reindeer doesn't have that many legs. Well, that's because later on we will be able to make it flash so it looks like it's running. And if you go into states, this already has states made for it because it's a made prop. And in here you can see that they are different parts of the legs. So we can make this reindeer run from a basic effect and all these states. So I'm going to keep it as running deer. And if we go back out, I think that is everything I want on my show for now. So save. Right. So sequencer. Let's move across to sequencer. Wow, there's a lot of things there, isn't there? Now this is where we make our sequences and make everything do what we want to do. We make all the lights flash, what colour we want them, how quick we want them to flash, everything. And as you can see, there's a lot of boxes. So if we want to make a sequence, this tab up here, new sequence, we click on new sequence. And we can decide if we want a musical sequence or an animation. So we are going to go with animation. We don't want any music to it. We're going to start off with just the animation. Now if we come up here to info, sequence duration 30 seconds. Every animation starts off at 30 seconds. You can make this longer if you want. If you decide 30 seconds is enough and then further down the line you decide you want it to be longer, you can make it longer, which I'll show you how to do. So if we go back to Wizard, 40 frames per second, 20 frames per second. So this is telling you how many frames per second, the speed of what this is going to run at. To the eye, you will not tell the difference between 20 and 40. But I always click the higher one. And we press done. Now, this has added all our props and groups down here. So what is this full screen? So we have got model preview. So if I am working on the arches, if I just add an effect to it quickly, you will see. It will bring the arches up here because I am on the arches. And as I bring this down, it will change to what it's on. So that's a really good way to be able to see what you are working on. House preview, that shows everything that's happening in that second. So if I added something else to my windows, if I change it to pink, because I'm clicked on the windows, you can see the windows in the model preview. But the house preview, you can now see the arches and the windows because they've both got something on. So let's get rid of them. it doesn't look very bright, does it? If I flick this on here, it's not very clear on this picture because you can see the house. So if you go into layout, down here, change the brightness. Now I have finished working on putting my props on the house, I am going to change the brightness to 20%. And that dulls it right down. Save. And if I go back in now to my sequencing, you can't see the house as much on the house preview, but you can see all the lights. Colour. This is where all your different colours are. And you can make new colours. You can make any colour you want. Then layer blending, layer setting, effects setting. These are all to make your different effects do different things. So for an example, really quickly, this is a simple butterfly. And I can change the colour from rainbow to my palette. Then I can pick lots of different colours. And now the rainbow is the colours I want. Render styles, I can change it from default, which spreads over the full house. I can change it to per model default. And it will make that pattern go on every prop. So effect settings, layer blending and layer settings all change your effects, and these are all your effects at the top. These are what is going to make your lights flash by putting these in these boxes in here. So up here is where your music would be if you did a music sequence. Here is the timing on your sequence, and then here is the props that you've got. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. So to start a sequence, first of all, I want to make sure all these are in the right order. And at the minute, they're not. Because I've just made this house, this isn't in any order. So how do we change this order? Well, if we right click, it brings up a whole new level of different things you can do. And if you go down to the very bottom, there we can see it now, edit display element. Now this is a view, master view. We've only got master view. But we don't want it in any order. We want it in different orders. So we will right click, edit display element. And then here it gives you all the groups and all the props that you have got in your house. So what I'm going to do is I am going to add, in fact I'm not, master view, I am going to clone. And this is going to be my master view of the house, the one that I decide which order I want everything in. So I am just simply going to put master house. Press OK. And then it gives me master view again. Now I'm going to highlight everything in here, and these arrows, these top ones, move all these out of the view. So if I press this arrow, it shifts everything across and there's nothing in there. So if I then close it and go to view, master house, Now I can't see any props. But I want to see my props because I need to see my props and groups so that I can sequence. So go back to Edit Display Element, click on Master House, and I'm just going to add everything I want to use to make a sequence. So I want all group, all horizontal and all verts. So I'm going to move it across. Arches group, move across. Rosa Grande, move them across. Singing Tree. Singing Tree doesn't have a group. House Straits. And can you see that these with these little things are groups? If it doesn't have one of these, it's not a group. So I am just moving all these across because I'm going to be using these groups for my sequence. Then I need to get these in the right order. So my all always goes at the top. So my all group, my all horizontal, my all verts. Then I would like my window groups. Window horizontal, window vertical. So I'll use these arrows to move them up or down. One arrow moves it up one space. Two arrows moves it up two spaces. Not two spaces, sorry, to the top. Then I move it down. So all horizontal, all vertical, window horizontal, window vertical, arches. There are my Rosa. My Singing Tree, I like to be at the very, very top. House Straits at the very top. Well, not at the very top, underneath all. Mini trees and stars. I want them higher than my GE. What are we missing? The mega tree. So the mega tree and mega star don't have groups, so I want to move them across. And they're underneath. So there is my master house. Now, if I had a lot of different props a few years later, the list went on and on and on and on, I could make another view, and this time I could call it Straits. And this time in the Straits, I don't want the tree, the megastar, the Rosa Grande, the stars, the mini trees. So I would highlight all of them and throw them out. I don't want the tree. I don't want the all. I just want all of my straight lines. So then when I'm sequencing, if I go to view and click on straights, all I can see is my straights and I can sequence into them. So, master house. Right, I've got everything in order. Brilliant. I've got 30 seconds to make a static sequence with no music. I think I am ready to go. What colour? Colour is the next question. What colour am I going to make this static show? Well, you could, if you was doing a music piece, go into AI and you could say, I am making this Excite sequence on this song. What colours best describe this song? And it in RGB colours. And it would give you a list of colours, and then you can add them on here. So if I then clicked on a colour, so I click on red, I can then go to this RGB sliders. I could type the RGB colours in here, the numbers, and it will bring the colour out here. I can then add the colour to my palette and it will add that colour onto my colours. So for this static, it doesn't need to go to any music. So we are going to go with just your normal default colours. So I have got my colours. And then I can just play away with these effects and make them flash. So what are we going to do? It's 30 minutes, 30 seconds static. I'm going to put colour wash on all my horizontals. In fact, first of all, I'm just going to make a really quick timeline to make it easier. So, not a timeline, a timing track. So if I right click, add timing track, select new timing interval, I'm going to leave that empty and I'm going to call this parts. It has added a timing mark. Now if I click anywhere in this music and press the letter T on my keyboard, it will make marks. So you can put them anywhere. And this is giving me timing. But I don't want all of these because I'm just going to use this really basic to make everything line up. So did you see what I did there? I unclicked the timing tracks. Then I highlighted them all and deleted. So I've got one. I can then pull this wherever I want. So I am going to pull this to the 30 seconds where I want this to end. Up here you've got two toggles, paste by time and paste by cell. I've done that wrong. I've added it on new timings and it should have been on parts. So click on it and delete. Click on parts. And then where I want it to have a timing T. And then that is it. If I click on parts now, it gives me an end. So this is now one big cell, this red bit. So back up here, paste by time. If you added effects in, it would paste by the time. Paste by cell, paste by what cell. It just pastes in that cell. So if I add a couple more, and then I add an effect, I am on paste by cell. I grab an effect and I pull it down, and can you see how it highlights? It turns it red. It's going to post it there. Because if you look, that is one cell. So if I did another one, I did it in this smaller one, it's pasting it across the full cell. So this is why we want a timing track. If I untick it, I get rid of these ones again, and then drag this one across. Now, any effect I add in here will paste in the full cell for my static sequence. If I didn't have this and I pasted it, look how small it's gone. And then as I add different ones, it's gonna, you've got to pull them open, make them bigger, make them smaller, get them in line. So parts, click where I want it, press the T, then everything is going to go in this gap. So all horizontal. I would like a colour wash on my window frames. Should I have a colour wash? White, that's a bit basic. We'll go for red. And we can do a vertical fade. No, let's go for horizontal fade. Oh, that looks better, doesn't it? Shimmer. Should we make it shimmer? No. In the colour palette, we can add sparkles. Let's add a couple of sparkles. Layer settings, render style, per model default. What if we go for default? What does it do if we press default? Well, that just makes it not look as good, does it? So we'll change that back to per model default. I like that effect. So if I hold Command and C, click on the effect, Command and C, verticals, I'd like it on my verticals as well, Command and V, and it has added it onto there as well. So now, if you can see in the house preview, we've got some sparkling lights on our windows. House straights. What's in our house straights group? Either side of the house. Right, so I would like that again on the straight. So Command and C, Command and V. Now this time it's all red. We don't want just a red sequence, do we? So go back to our colours and I'm going to change that to blue. Yeah, I like that. Arches. Shall we make the arches? What colour shall we make the arches? Why don't we make the arches red, the same as the windows? But this time, I would like it to move. So if we can't add another effect on here because we've got an effect. So if we click on Arches group and right click, insert layer below. That gives us 2 layers now. So now if I add single strand, I'm going to change the colour so you can see what it's doing. And down here, effect settings, what have we got? Number of chases, what does this do? Well, it's going very slow, isn't it? That's because it's spread out over 30 seconds. So let's make it go faster. How do we make it go faster? Do we add more cycles? Oh, it's moving now, isn't it? But it's only moving on the bottom of it. It's not moving on the top of it. That is because this is showing the red layer on the top and the blue layer underneath. If we swap these around, now you can see the blue on the top and it's moving. So we're going to turn them cycles back down to 1 to make them move slower. We're going to turn the amount of number chases down. Fade. Well, it needs to fade because the rest of the house is faded, but this isn't faded. So let's fade. What? There's lots of options. Look, on fade. Fade from the head, from the tail, head and tail, or the middle. Fade from the middle, then that gives it a nice fade. Left to right. Do we want it going left to right? No, I want it to go from the middle. That blue's not very bright on the red though, is it? So let's change that blue to white. That's more Christmassy. I actually like that. But it don't really go with the blue now, does it? So let's change the blue. Change the blue to white. Yeah, looks good. Mini trees. What shall we make the mini trees do? Well, up here there is spirals. If we click on spirals and bring it down, and then we change this, what colour shall we have? Red. They look very blotchy, don't they? So if we go to layout, click on our tree and come down to appearance, pixel size 2. Oh, you can change the pixel sizes. So 10. That makes the pixels a lot bigger. But I like it on 1. So I am guessing everything on here is at pixel size 2. I don't like pixel size 2. So I'm going to highlight everything, right click and bulk edit, and I can change the pixel size of everything on my show. Change it to 1 and look at that. Make sure you save. So back to our sequences. That looks better. Right, what are we going to do with this one? Spiral wraps. What does spiral wraps do? It's on 2. Bring it down. Yeah. Oh, it turns it the other way now, look, minus. So which way do you want your spirals to turn? So let's stick that 2. Thickness, 50. Well, this will be why it looks blotchy. If I turn the thickness right down, that looks better. Movement 1. What if I press the 3D button? Oh, it makes it 3D. What if I press this button? It adds more. So we've got some spirals on our mini trees. Again, I want that to sparkle. So I'll just add a couple of sparkles. And if I make this bigger and we press play, why won't it play? Please don't say we've just crashed. No. Back to the beginning, play. And there's the start of our static sequence. So now you've seen that, What didn't we do? The main thing that you have to keep doing. On layout, I kept saying it, press the save button. On sequencer, it is the same. You have to keep saving. So I would go into File, Save Sequence As. I would save it in the folder of my Christmas stuff, and then every minute I would keep hitting this save button to keep saving the work I'd done. That's it from me today. Hope you have enjoyed it, and I will see you again very soon to carry on our journey. Goodbye.